Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Quadash. Double honors to the apostle and elders, the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. This is an article off of End Time Headlines. The title reads, Trump slams MAGA supporters who believe Jeffrey E., I'm going to say it that way, Jeffrey E. bullshit, says it's a hoax and doesn't want their support anymore. So here it is. American people, right, have voted for Donald J. Trump to get back in office because after the previous administration, the Biden administration, things were getting bad. And people had confidence in Trump to make things better, right? As he said, one of his things getting back into office, getting back into presidency, I believe the term he used was drain the swamp, right? Right. A swamp could be looked at as a place that has a lot of filth, a lot of dirt, right? The water is contaminated. So draining it means getting rid of the filth. And one of the things was the whole, which I'll say it just this one time, dealing with Jeffrey Epstein and the island and all that and the trafficking, right? That was something that was came up. And again, he said, if I'm not mistaken, the term that he used was draining the swamp, releasing the files, releasing the list. And now, as I'm going to read this article, you're going to see how, and I believe I heard him even say it in an interview on TV, that it was all hoax, it's all bullshit, it's all fake news. So after using that to get back to being a president, to use that for the American people, because that's essentially what he did, right? Regardless of Donald Trump wants to admit that or not, use your mind. Think for a second, right? Instead of being told what to think for yourself. Think about it. He used the terminology such as draining the swamp. He's going to do this. They're going to do that. Mostly every president, every American president, since they've wanted to come into office, have used essentially the same tactic, right? They use smooth words. They say things that the people essentially want to hear, because whether the previous administration is not competent and things in America is not looking too good. So they say what people want to hear, right? So that way people will vote for him, although your votes don't matter, but that's another topic, right? They tell you what you want to hear, so that way you can get, that way they can get into office. He talked about draining the swamp, which again, I believe that was a terminology, right? And about fixing the economy, doing certain things, yada, yada, yada. And now, since he's got into presidency, became president again, has he, as he said, drained the swamp? Has he fixed the economy of America? Because if you look up certain videos that people are putting on YouTube and TikTok, I did a lesson, if I'm not mistaken, either earlier this week or maybe last week. I believe the channel's name is A Homestead Journey. And she gave the account of multiple people showing prices of like eggs. Eggs was like $20. A block of cheese was like $10. Most of the products in the grocery store are above $10. So is the economy really booming? Is things really getting better? Remember when he said, when he came into presidency, right, when he was inaugurated, the golden age of America begins now. There's going to be so much wealth, so much money coming in, you're not going to know what to do with it. People forget that Trump is a businessman as well. And as a businessman, you have to be able to talk well and sell things to people, so that way they can be convinced to buy into whatever you're trying to sell to them. People forgot that Trump was a businessman. And he essentially just used that to just draw you people in. That's all. Okay, cool. So it says, President Donald Trump sparked controversy with a fiery Truth Social post dismissing the ongoing speculation surrounding Jeffrey E. as a hoax and sharply criticizing supporters who continue to demand transparency about the case. But you have to understand, the reason why people, Americans, are so gung-ho about this is essentially because what? He used the terms of draining the swamp, doing this and doing that. Matter of fact, just to lead you and show you a video, I'm not going to play it because the way my headset is set up, I don't think it's going to come through the headset or you won't be able to hear it. But I believe this is the brother Dawada, if I'm not mistaken. I apologize if I'm getting that incorrect. from Men of Valor, South Carolina. Shalom to him, and subscribe and be edified to his lessons. Subscribe. He does a lot of edifying and uplifting videos. But he goes into this, and in this lesson, he shows you, right? He plays essentially pre and post. Pre meaning that he shows you the things that Trump and some of the people that he has in power now are backing him now, how they were saying and talking about the Jeffrey E. and how, we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to release the files and things like that. Again, to drain the swamp. And now post, it's a hoax. It's not real. It's fake news. Because you guys see, this is what they do to you people. They manipulate you American people into buying into what they say. Again, giving smooth words. And then they never give you anything that you apparently want. This is why the people are so gung-ho on it, because, again, he was talking a lot about it. Releasing the files, releasing the list. Oh, yeah, we have the list. You said you had the list. So now think about that. You said that you had the list. Those are his words. You can go back, especially with the use of AI, with the use of YouTube, right? Everything's out there now. You can't now sit there and say this is fake news when you said you had a list. So what list did you have in your possession? Because somebody had to bring the list to him, right? Which there actually probably most likely is a list, right? But that list will never come out. Through the Spirit, I knew that list and all that stuff was never going to come out. So I already knew that the way this all went down. I'm not surprised personally. They're not going to release that list. And I'm going to explain to a degree why. Right, one of the reasons why as I was meditating about this, right? But one of your people got hold of a list that had a list of everybody that went to that island with Jeffrey E. And obviously it had to be brought to your attention, brought to you, and you had to have seen the names on that list and everything. And I think he even mentioned some people's names. If I could be wrong about that, that may be a stretch, but if I'm not mistaken. Right. But I think he even mentioned some people names that were on the list. So if I'm mistaken about that, if I'm stretching that, I apologize. But if he did do that, you mentioned some names that were on that list. Then on top of that, you said you had that list. But now all of a sudden it's fake news. It's not real. So what list did you get into your hands and get into your possession or was brought to your attention at all? Because, again, like the brother did the video, you watch before he got into office, he was talking about it, that there was a list, that they got it into their hands. Now it's just fake. So why were you saying that you had the list? Now, as far as what I was mentioning with the why such a list will never come out, is because you have to understand it's about public image, right? It's about saving face, keeping a certain public image in the face of the people. If whoever is on that list, right, which is a lot of people, especially a lot of people, government people, right? If that list is released into the public, that breaks the public image of people. Because you have to understand, one of the things that Esau Edom does in this time and promotes is public image. Right. And what do I mean by it? Meaning that you have to have a certain image for the public. People have to see you in a certain light, in a certain way that keeps the people liking you, keeps the people on your side. Right. This is why sometimes certain celebrities or certain presidents will be at certain schools or go here or go there. It's not really because it's not because they want to go to this place. Maybe like a baseball game or a football game or a basketball game or whatever. Yeah, they'll go there. Maybe they are a fan of the sport. But really and truly, they don't really want to be at some of these certain places like a school or whatever. The reason why they are there is because they have to keep up that public image. Oh, he's at this place at the school with the kids and things like that. Oh, he's a man of the people, I believe is the term that they use, right? He's a man of the people. So this is why they do these things, again, to have a certain public image. If you even look at the commercials, right? If you look at the guy who wants to become mayor for New York, Zoran Mamdani, you'll see the commercials where he's all smiles with the people, he's interacting. It shows a certain image for the people. So it shows like, oh, this guy is approachable. This guy is a man of the people. He's a person that you can talk to, you can reach out to. It makes you feel like what? He's a friend. He's one of you. So now, if you release a list like that, and there are certain names that people look up to, right? People who believe in like celebrities, people that are fans of celebrities and things like that, that breaks that public image. That now taints the image to where people don't want to have anything to do. Because now imagine you have this celebrity who is on a pedestal in your mind, but now you find out, hey, they were on the island. That taints their image, and now you look at them in a negative light. And now what? Remember, Esau uses some of these same celebrities, some of these government officials and things like that. So now if the image of them is broken, can't use them. So that list was never going to come out, ever. It was just a thing that used to, hey, again, to trick the American people into believing that Trump was going to do good. But again, no, they never deliver. Continuing. Okay. Yeah. It says the remark highlights a growing rift within his MAGA base as some prominent allies call for the release of documents related to Jeffrey E.'s trafficking investigation. As you can see there, I'm skipping certain words just to be cautious. In his post, Trump expressed frustration, stating, "I have had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history. And all these people want to talk about with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems is the Jeffrey E. hoax." Again, mind you, like I mentioned, the brother did a very edifying lesson. If you listen to some of it, matter of fact, hold on. I think I'll do that. Hold on. Okay. Lord's willing, you can still hear me. I'll actually play some of this real quick. So let me see if I can find. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna play some of this.
Do that, and then when they get in,
Yeah, I would.
all right. But without further ado, let's check this out.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess.
This was before he got in office. He said, yeah.
I would.
Release the list. Seriously, we need to release the
I believe this is J.D. Vance, if I'm not mistaken. Listen to what he says.
Epstein list.
She just asked the current.
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would.
Release the list. Seriously,
So
we need to release the Epstein list.
She just asked the current sitting president of the United States of America if he would release the list, and he said yeah. And then we got this guy Theo Vaughn with J.D. Vance, the current vice president of the United States, saying we need to release this list. All right, these aren't just podcasters or conspiracy. These are those that are running the country, man.
That is an important thing.
Will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these
Cass
sex
Patel,
trafficking
the current director of
rings?
the FBI.
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place
Apparently it does,
in the United
though.
States of
Once again,
America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as...
All right, and we for us, we don't really care. We know these damn devils are all devils, okay? You even got Jake and shit that went to this.
So you had three. You had the president himself, right, as it showed. He said, yeah, he would do it. He said yes. J.D. Vance, the vice president, and then Cash Patel, the FBI director, that said yes, that agreed, confirming that there's a list. Now all of a sudden it's a hoax. Now all of a sudden it's fake news. That doesn't make any sense. He went on to call supporters who focus on the Jeffrey E. case weaklings, adding, "Let these weaklings continue to forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success because I don't want their support anymore. So here it is. You voted for him in, right? He wanted your support to get him in. And now that he's in, I don't want your support anymore. I don't need you anymore, right? You're believing fake news. You're a bunch of weaklings. I'm pretty sure when you needed them to believe in you before getting into your presidency, they weren't weaklings. Now all of a sudden they're weaklings. Shows you your president. This is who you voted for. The Jeffrey E. case has been a point of contention with public interest fueled by speculation about a supposed client list of powerful figures tied to Jeffrey E.'s crimes. See, so it's powerful figures, important people. What the hell is that? In the world, right? So again, like I mentioned earlier about having a public image, you can't release that list because why? That's going to mess up the public image. And thinking about it spiritually, right? The Heavenly Father has raised up prophets, right? As it's written of, if I'm not mistaken, in 2 Thessalonians, by the spirit of his mouth. We have messed up Esau's public image, right? Through the spirit, right? By prophecy, right? And along with the prophets have messed up Esau Edom's public image to where now people are questioning, people are investigating, right? Inquisition, as it's written of, if I'm not mistaken, in second Ezra's, inquisition is being made. So inquisition means question. So now people are questioning, people are side-eyeing, people are double looking the things that they do now. It's no more just saying something and that's it. And maybe just a few people can see the so-called light. People can see the BS. No, a lot of people now are seeing the BS. And people are not wanting to be quiet about it now, especially with social media. Social media gives a lot of people a voice, right, to voice their opinions. Continuing, it says, However, the Justice Department and FBI recently clarified that no such list. So, did not Kash Patel just a little bit ago, as we watched the video, a little snippet, did he not say yes, he will do what in his power? Now he's also probably saying there's no thing. Recently clarified that there's no such list exists, but you guys were saying there was a list. And no further files will be released, despite earlier suggestions from Attorney General Pam Bondi that documents were under review. All right. So let me get a precept real quick. And this is Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 19. It reads, "Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint." Right? The unfaithful man would be Esau Edom, the so-called white man, right? And people have confidence in them. Confidence that they would do the right thing, right? Confidence that like it says, in time of trouble, hey, America's not doing so well at what was once the current administration, which was the Biden administration. Things is not looking so well. So America is in a time of trouble, right? And again, Trump would represent, right? And those underneath him, or all of them Edomites, would represent that unfaithful man. And the American people have confidence in that. But what? Confidence, again, in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint, useless, worthless, good for nothing. That's why you don't have confidence in an unfaithful man. They're not going to keep well on their word. Again, there was a list. I just played the video. Again, you had the president himself, the vice president, and the FBI director all agreeing that, yeah, we got to release it. We'll get it out there. Now it's a hoax. Now it's fake news. Now it doesn't exist. This is why you don't have faith in an unfaithful man. This is why you don't have confidence in an unfaithful man. Because they're useless. Their word is useless. It's good for nothing. And now think about it. If he goes back on that, what else will he go back on? Remember, the golden age of America begins now. Is he now going to go back on that as well? And say, oh, we got to do other things now? What else is he going to go back on now? See, once you go back on your word, Like scripture say, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So now once you start going back on your word on one thing, you're going to get checked. You're going to get side eyes now and be like, you went back on your word that one time. I don't know if we could trust you. Anything else you say might be a little sketchy now. Well, now you're going to get that. You sure you're going to keep your word on that? Yeah. You sure? Because last time it's always going to be brought that up now. See? This reversal has intensified criticism from Republicans, including conservative influencers like Megyn Kelly, Steve Bannon, and even Trump's daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, who called for more transparency on a recent podcast. Trump's dismissal of the Jeffrey E. controversy as a Democratic scam echoes his past strategy for reframing unfavorable issue, as partisan attacks. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey E. hoax, and my past supporters have bought into this bullshit, hook, line, and sinker, he wrote, linking the issue to previous allegations like the Russia investigation. Public sentiment, as reflected in a recent CNN poll, shows widespread dissatisfaction with the government's handling of the Jeffrey E. case, with only 3% of the public and 4% of the 3% of the public and 4% of Republicans satisfied with the information released. This discontent has fueled calls for transparency even among Trump's base, creating tension as House Republicans recently voted down resolutions to release more files. Trump's remarks have drawn sharp reactions. MSNBC host Ana Cabrera noted that the president has been begging his supporters to focus on his administration's achievements rather than the case, highlighting the challenge he faces in redirecting his base. Meanwhile, some allies like conservative figure Charlie Kirk have attempted to downplay the rift, suggesting Trump supporters are talking past each other but share a common goal of exposing corruption. Well, hey, that was a big part of corruption. That was a big evil, having an island, doing all that craziness on that island. Don't you think that needs to be brought to attention, that those names on that list need to be brought out so as people can pay for their crimes? But that shows you that we're living in a very unjust system, that you can have something like that out there and nothing's going to be done about it. Again, public image, because those people that went there, the public image of them have to be safe. One of the reasons why is, again, because Esau Edom uses these people. And if their public image is destroyed, Esau can't use these people. So that's why when they do these things can't come out about them. And if these people who go there, right, whether they be government officials, celebrities, right, rappers, people in the industry in Hollywood, movie directors, movie stars, right, actors, actresses, whoever, right, if this is this type of stuff that they do, and we know about this stuff, right, because information has been revealed via YouTube. I remember when I got out of high school, I for some time got into the whole Illuminati thing, and one of the things I remember was with Rihanna's Under My Umbrella video, how when she was swinging her hands, her hands were making a shape, right, with horns on it. It was making like a head figure with horns on it. And the person explained that no matter how much a person swings their hands the way she was swinging, it's not supposed to make a figure with a head on it with horns on it. So that was deliberately and purposely done in that video, right? We're living in a satanic country. We're living in an evil world, a satanic world, right? Also the stuff, I believe one other video I remember watching was something with the Yin Yang twins, something with the checkerboard floor, if I'm not mistaken, that goes back to something. I forgot exactly what it is. So we know that, these actresses, again, celebrities, Jay-Z, Beyonce, all that, they're tied in to a degree. They do their stuff on the left-hand side. They make their sacrifices, drink blood, sacrifice family members, whatever have you, to get the positions that they want, right? So if these people do that, can you imagine much more what the elites do and the nastiness that they get into? So again, it's about having a public image, right? Saving face. You can't have this information about you being a pretty much a booty scratcher, right? I ain't talking about scratching booty like you got an itch down there. I mean, like, if you get what I mean, you get what I mean. But you being a booty scratcher or a booty muncher or something like that, that information can't come out on you like that, right? That's gonna mess up your public image. So again, there's not much, yeah. So it says the controversy underscores a broader scheme within the Republican Party, as Trump's insistence that the case is a distraction clashes with the demands of some of his most vocal supporters. As the debate continues, the president's aggressive rhetoric risks alienating a portion of his base while amplifying scrutiny of his administration handling of the case investigation. So people are torn on this, and if I'm not mistaken, Lord's willing, this still plays. Lord's willing. I believe the brother Baquar sent this a couple of days ago. And as you can see there, right, those are the MAGA hats, and people are burning them. So it shows you what? People are not with Trump. People are against him. And this is very similar as brothers naming what? Nero Trump. If you know the history of Nero, eventually the people were against Nero as well. So as you can see right there, see? That's symbolic of the people no longer wanting to, their mind is no longer with Trump. They bought into his act and everything, but now they're seeing the light. They're seeing that this guy ain't really who we thought he was. He ain't doing the things that he was saying that he was going to do. The country ain't getting better. The list ain't got revealed, amongst other things. So it's like, yo, we ain't rocking with this guy. Forget him and his message. Right? And again, like I brought out, confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. This is why you don't trust an unfaithful man, right? This is why, and our people are getting ready to experience this, right? In Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1, it says, woe be to rebellious children, right? The rebellious children are you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That walk to go down into Egypt, see? And Egypt is synonymous with America, right? So that walk to go down into Egypt, right? So they have that confidence in Egypt, confidence in that unfaithful man, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, right? Because they have confidence in Egypt, confidence in America, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt, which is America again. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Now, yes, this was speaking again, because God qualified. Yes, this is speaking about during Isaiah's time. But again, looking at it spiritually, our people, right, trust in America. They trust in this place. They have confidence in this place. And in the time of trouble, they're going to go down to Egypt for help. But the trust, right? Trust in shadow of Egypt shall be your confusion, and the strength of Pharaoh your shame. So your confidence in this unfaithful man is going to end up being your shame and your confusion. And our people are going to experience that and feel that. They're going to feel regret for trusting in him. And he has consistently shown over and over why you shouldn't have confidence in him, why you cannot trust him. This is why it says, Ecclesiasticus, sorry. Right, Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, or book of Sirach chapter 12 and verse 10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away, right? So that rust, if I'm not mistaken, I believe when air hits iron, it starts to rust. I believe the term is called oxidation, if I'm not mistaken. So once that air hits that iron, it begins to rust. So it's the same thing like Esau Edom. He's always going to be wicked. That wickedness is always going to be there. It's not going to go away. So although they humble themselves, although they say smooth words, you're going to see that who they really are. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, but now, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was right here. But again, that would be the video. But now, all of a sudden, after all this time, him using the terminology, drain the swamp, there's a list, yeah, I'll release it and things like that. Now, all of a sudden, it's fake news. It's a hoax. It's not real. That is your American president, ladies and gentlemen. That is who you voted for, right? Whether it be you Edomites or even our own people, you Israelites, this is your president. So if he goes back on his word about this, what else is he going to go back on his word about? But I'll end it here. Pray that this video has been edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash, Shalom.